Hey, Lexi and Dylan. This one's called The Girl Who Planted Trees by Carol Hart. Let's see what this one is. Once there was a girl. She was just a small girl, about your size actually. She lived in a dry little village at the foot of Great Grey Mountain. All day long the fierce sun scorched the earth, and when the evening came, the hot air hung heavily around the houses. One night, unable to sleep, the girl found her grandpa reading a battered old book. "Oh," she gasped, "I wish our mountain was like that." "This is our mountain," sighed her grandpa. "But year after year, the trees have been cut down and all the animals have disappeared." Sadly, he kissed the girl's forehead and then tucked her into bed. She ate her breakfast the next morning. The girl thought to herself, if only we could bring our mountain forest back. But what could she do? She was just one small girl. Then a tiny idea caught in the corner of her mind. "This fruit grew on a tree," she whispered, "and here are the pips." She gathered up some things and set off up the mountain. Higher and higher she climbed. The rough track got steeper and the blistering sun scorched the girl's back, but she did not stop. When at last she reached the top, the girl began to dig into the baked earth. There she buried her pip and whispered a wish. "Please grow, little pip." When she returned, eager to see what had sprouted, there was not a single bit of green to be seen. "Oh, Grandpa," she sighed, the girl. "I wanted to grow a fruit tree on the mountain, so I planted a pip, but it was a silly waste of time." "It was a lovely idea," said her grandpa, "but the mountain is too dry for anything much to grow. And besides, a pip can't sprout overnight. It'll take days or even weeks." "Oh," said the girl, "in that case I'll plant some more, and this time I will water them." That afternoon the girl knocked on the neighbor's door. "I'm going to grow some fruit trees on the mountain," she said. "Can you collect some pips for me?" "Oh my," the woman chuckled. "I've heard everything now." All the same, she picked out several large pips from her peelings. And although the girl's other neighbors laughed too, by the end of the week she had a great number of pips and seeds and stones of every shape and size. 100 seeds will grow, 100 trees. 100 seeds will grow, 100 trees, the girl grinned. Weeks passed, and each time the girl climbed the mountain, she imagined she was walking beneath a cool canopy of dappled green leaves. How wonderful it would be! Every day she planted more seeds and watered them well, and soon the seeds began to sprout. Even though some withered away under the baking sun, and some were eaten by birds or dug up by animals, the girl did not give up. Until one day some of the saplings had grown as tall as the girl herself, maybe even taller than you. "Soon I shall grow a whole forest," she thought. Gradually a small patch of green began to appear on the Great Grey Mountain. It smoothed the frowns from people's foreheads and pulled up the corners of their mouths. Even the girl's grandpa started to feel a little lighter on his tired old legs. Then, one sweltering night, a terrible storm came roaring up the valley. Thunder boomed, lightning ripped across the night sky, and a ferocious wind tore through the house. The girl huddled against her grandpa and sobbed as if her heart might break. "My trees," she cried, "my poor trees." The storm had destroyed them all. At home, the girl and her grandpa slowly began to mend what was broken. Suddenly the girl noticed something incredible. In the shelter of the barn, a tiny weed stretched its petals to the sun. "Grandpa," she said, "the storm was too much for my little trees, but maybe I could grow them here until they are strong." In the days that followed, they filled their yard with higgly-piggly collection of pots, jugs, and pans, and each one a tiny, perfect seedling began to grow. But when her last young tree was ready, the girl became worried. "Our trees are so strong," she said, "but how will I carry them all the way up the mountain?" "You won't," said her grandpa. "We will." So the girl and her grandpa filled a cart and pulled it up the mountain together. At last, all the trees were planted, each tied to a stout stick to protect it from the blustering wind. Still the girl sighed. "We have worked so hard," she said, "but it will take 1,000 years to cover the mountain by ourselves." It's lucky we're not by ourselves then, said her grandpa. Look. And there below the girl saw a great crowd of people snaking up the mountain track towards them. Oh, Grandpa, she cried, they're bringing the rest of the trees. Yours and many more, said her neighbour. You dreamed that you could bring the forest back. Now your dream is our dream too. Weeks turned into months, months stretched into years, and just like the trees, the girl grew tall. She studied hard and learned to care for the land. All the while, everyone worked together to look after the trees and plant new ones. And slowly, the great grey mountain turned green, until one day, when the girl was a grandmother herself, the mountain was even more wonderful than a picture in her grandpa's old book. More wonderful than anyone could ever have imagined. Almost as wonderful as you. The end. Well, isn't that a lovely story? The girl who planted trees and inspired everyone else to plant trees. Love you, babies. Sweet dreams. Mwah.